So we are going to wait just for a few minutes and then we'll start this. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, a very good evening to all of you. And now it is going to be a fireside chat. And for this, I would like to invite on the stage Senior Research Associate of Mobius Foundation, Ms. Jessica Gill. Please put your hands together for her. And since this is going to be a fireside chat, so I would like to see that fire in your hands. Let's have a huge round of applause, my dear friends. I invite you on the stage. And from here now, I'll hand over the stage to Ms. Jessica Gill, and she'll be taking over for this particular session. So over to you now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shilpa. Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Mobius for what promises to be a very enthralling and special conversation today. So at Mobius, we've always believed in using the power of knowledge and storytelling to inspire change. And today, we're thrilled to share something truly exciting with all of you. So for the very first time in a public forum, we're announcing a powerful 10 documentary series that Mobius has created in collaboration with Warner Bros. Discovery. The series addresses one of the most urgent, pressing issues of our time, climate change, and explores not just the planetary boundaries being transgressed, but also stories of hope, resilience, and action across the length and breadth of India. So before we have something exciting also to share with you, that for the first time, we will be releasing a teaser of 2.5 minutes for your eyes. So you get a sneak peek into what this film has to offer. And the film is due to release before Christmas this year. And so before that, I'd like to introduce 3 very incredible voices who will be steering this conversation today. So our chairman, Mr. Burman, whose vision has been at the heart of this project. Robin Roy, the director of this documentary series and the creative force behind bringing these stories to life. And Sarah Jacob, an accomplished journalist who will help guide our discussion today. But before we actually have a look at the teaser, I'd like to share a little bit about Robin Roy, who's the founder and owner of Robin Roy Films. He has, over the last 3 decades, become one of the most internationally and nationally awarded factual entertainment filmmakers in India. He has 5 Asian Television Award wins in Singapore and over 10 from the Indian Television Academy and the Indian Telly Awards. Robin and his team have quite literally been there, done that. So from the summit of Mount Everest to desert wastelands and deep jungles, natural disaster sites, military defense frontiers, to India's most unique historical monuments, they have captured some of the most greatest moments on television. So thank you, Robin, for joining us today. And an introduction to Sarah, who is a journalist with a deep interest in gender, health, and environmental issues. In one of her most fulfilling assignments as a reporter with NDTV, Sarah traveled along India's 6,500-kilometer-long coastline, reporting on multiple forms of environmental degradation taking place there, from illegal mining and chemical pollution to overfishing. Sarah traveled via road and by sea from the westernmost state of Gujarat to West Bengal in the east, for 2 months, filing daily reports on India's pursuit of economic growth and the impact on the country's most valuable natural resources, its coastline. So I welcome you all. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. I'd now like to invite these 3 incredible voices to please come on stage. Sir, may I please request you? So ladies and gentlemen, are we ready to get a glimpse into the teaser of this documentary? I can't hear you. Okay. May I request the technical team to please play the teaser? Thank you.
Imagine a horrific scenario. You're bound, blindfolded, and at the edge of a deep chasm. This isn't as far-fetched as you may think it is. It's exactly what is happening to the human race. We, all of us, are headed to the edge of an abyss where danger is just one little step away. But just suppose we could make ourselves stop. Remove our blindfolds. face our reality and walk away from the cliff edge. Mother Earth has sustained us for tens of thousands of years. But look at what we humans have done. We've pushed Earth's life support systems close to the point of no return. Today, institutions and individuals across the world are studying this growing crisis. Among them is Professor Bhaskar Veera of the University of Cambridge. He is trying to understand the relationship between natural ecosystems and human well-being. In particular, in his home country, India, he finds that we stand at the very edge of environmental disaster.
The scientific evidence suggests that we have far exceeded Earth's capacity to sustain human life on the planet.
But despite our troubles, there are rays of hope. In this series, we meet inspiring people working on ways to remove the blindfold from our eyes and lead us away from the cliff edge to a more sustainable future. And it is our responsibility, us humans, to fight for the future of this planet. This could be our last chance to save our mother, our Earth.
Thank you, Jessica. And watching that clip really gave me goosebumps when I think of what's at stake, when I think of the scale at which we are plundering planet Earth, the only home that we know, the only home that we have. Mr. Burman, thank you so much. The next generation thanks you for your foresight. But I want to first ask, I think, a question that's on everybody's minds. What led you to this endeavor? 10-part documentary is no small feat. Energy, resources, money, so much investment. I think it's already been 2 years that this has been going on. What led you, where did this idea come from?
First of all, we are working for the environment, and we intend to do everything to try and prevent the earth from exploding, or I should say, to going to such a state where you can't return. What actually inspired me was seeing that documentary by Johan Rockström, which says Breaking Boundaries. And that really opened my eyes that we could stick it into categories and we could put scientifically place boundaries where we could not cross. And if we crossed it, then we would be heading towards disaster. But the entire documentary didn't give any solutions to what we should do. So I said that, look, this is about the earth and the planet and the world, but I want to do something based on India, because we are going to show it in India to the main population. So we must base all our statistics and everything on India. But the key would be to show solutions on what is to be done for each of the aspects of sustainability or each of the aspects that is bothering the earth.
I'm so glad to hear that.
Yes.
We'd love to get to solutions. But before that, let me also ask, what led you to this new avatar of yours? I mean, at a time when your peers are leading retired lives and enjoying the exploits of their grandkids, what led you to take on this new chapter where you're a voice for, a crusader, you're speaking for the environment?
Yes, I think Europe also realizes that environment due to global warming, they're having fires, they're having rain, they're having droughts, and a whole lot of issues, and which they now realize from watching the documentary and other scientific professors and all who have predicted that this is what is going to happen. So in India, we have the same problem, but it has to be done on an Indian context, so I'm doing it on the Indian context. What we did earlier was create awareness about the population, that the population is the main cause of our misery, because our population at that time was 35 crores when we gained independence, and today the population is 140 crores. That's 4 times that. No increase in land. What has been resulted in is that we've cut down forest, we've increased the animal and human conflict, and they have no passage to go, they have no space to live. But we have created concrete, and we have also prevented the trees from taking away the carbon dioxide which is supposed to take. So we are doing a lot of things contrary to our own homes and to our own lives.
Absolutely. If you drive around Delhi, you'll see under the flyovers now, they're painting trees, painting beautiful people trees, because they have, all the worldly art and all that under the flyovers, but where are the real trees? That's the question. But Robin, I want to ask you first about craft. As we saw in this 2.5 minute clip, this is a beautifully outstanding production. This is a dream project for a filmmaker. You've been given the resources and the backing to go out there and basically document a moment in time for humanity, one of most historic moments in our century possibly, and at a time when the world is going to Insta reels and short clips, and in a newsroom the editor says, no, we can't do long format, public ko interest hi nahi hai, there's no bandwidth for this. When you are given the opportunity to document this moment where you have humanity standing on a precipice, and what is man going to do next? Is this going to be harakiri, or are they going to step back from it? Tell us about the craft and the job and the skill behind this film.
Well, before anything else, you said the right thing. I feel incredibly privileged that I am doing this, and it's thanks to Mr. Burman and the foundation that he runs. It also puts a huge amount of pressure on us to make sure we get it right. And I think that balance between telling what's wrong as well as telling stories of people trying to get it right, I think that's what's the thing. So it's required a huge amount of research. As you can see, we've tied up with some very, very erudite people who've led this research. And hopefully we've got it all right. Like I said, it's all because of the Mobius Foundation that has sort of backed us, also with knowledge.
Yeah.
And apart from the means, but also with knowledge. And also, I must point it out, given us the freedom to tell hard stories. When you talk of planetary boundaries, we have crossed many of these planetary boundaries. Some we stand at the edge of. It's a very dire situation. And a lot of people don't want to engage these stories directly. I think what Mr. Burman has done is given us that freedom to say, tell the hard stories, temper it with hopeful stories as well. And hopefully you all will enjoy them.
So this is, yes, a professional project for you, but it's also deeply personal. This film asks us to look at what world we're passing on to the next generation, to our children. And this is, and it's a world that has changed so much in our own lifetimes, and you've seen this, like you talk about this a bit, where you went back to Gangotri this time, and you've been there before for other projects. Can you tell us about that?
Okay, so I'll just give you a little glimpse of this thing. Some of the visuals that you saw were up in the Harsil area where we filmed just a few months ago. The particular place where my anchor, the professor from Cambridge, was standing, doesn't exist anymore. The Dharali landslide has just blasted that area away. It doesn't exist. And that was, the cause of that Dharali landslide was a glacial lake outburst. And it can't ring more real for us to know that where we were just a few months ago is now a wreckage site. So the problem is near, it's in front of us, like my film shows, we're at the edge, we've got to do something about it, it's our last chance.
So you talk a lot about facts. In the introduction, they talked about facts. You mentioned the backing that you've got to put out real research and how time is going by. The papers have talked about a point called ecological overshoot, which is the point when humanity consumes more than what the earth can rejuvenate. And according to scientists, for the year 2025, that day was the 24th of June, my daughter's birthday, so very surreal. I want to ask you, Mr. Burman, what fascinates me about this film is that, like you said, it's not just all gloom and doom, and it's not scaring people, but it's giving you facts. And it seems to be strongly backed up by research. You have Robin, who also says that your organization has provided them with that kind of strong research. Tell us a little bit about that. Why was that a priority for you?
There are two reasons. One, we have to do something now. Otherwise, we'll be heading further towards disaster. And the second reason is that it is giving a sense of hope. Without that hope, we cannot continue even what we're continuing now. It is a question of giving people hope that you can do something and we will do something, and that is why we have shown solutions. We have shown solutions of how to use plastic to use for the roads. It is being done in Kerala.
Yeah.
So this is what we want to see. And besides that, how people are cleaning up beaches and all, this is what we want to tell people to do, that more communities take part in this, the sooner we'll be happier and actually better for the new generations. And it is important for the youth to take active part in the community, advise their fathers not to throw this thing away, and it is for the youth to take it up and change the future of their own lives. That is important.
So I think that's a really important point. There's a youth that's grappling with this new world where we're increasingly seeing so much change just in the climate. For those who don't believe in science, nature is giving you its own record. Today's papers have been full of the devastation, the deaths that have taken place in Dehradun after that cloudburst. I hope none of you have had to fly in from Bombay for this conference. I know this. I met somebody here who's from Italy, but the world is changing so fast. But we have the youth who are trying to grapple with what difference can we make on a personal level, right? I don't know if I'm sure you've seen that meme that's doing the rounds that talks about how corporates are flying in their private jets to Davos to talk about climate change, and here I am changing my plastic straw to a paper straw. What would you say to the youth that is grappling with eco-anxiety and wondering what we can do, and how do we deal with all of this?
Well, there are various ways of tackling each and every issue which has to do with climate change, whether it has to do with cloudbursts, or whether it has to do with the plastics, or whether it has to do with beaches, or whether it has to do with floods. Everything has a solution, and that is what we are presenting with this documentary. So I want to give the youth whose future we have destroyed, but we won't be there to say it anymore. But at least they can do whatever they can do to mend. If you say it's a torn cloth, then they have to sew it up and live with that. So these things are being done. These things are being done. I want to encourage it to be done much more than what is being done.
I think I'd like to just this thing. It's exactly like the visual metaphor we used in the film, in the beginning of the film. We just need to take our blindfolds off and not walk towards the edge of the cliff. just turn around and walk away. There is a clear path. Just follow it. That's all we're trying to say, that there are solutions, just follow them.
So this clear path, it's not all gloom and doom, you both say. So Robin, could you give us a glimpse into this part of the film? Some positive stories, or maybe something, someone, a movement, or someone who inspired you, or was
So
the
there are
most
many
effective?
such stories in this film. We peppered the film with incredibly hopeful stories. I mean, there's so many that I can't really get into it. But I mean, there are farmers who we've encountered in farming in regions that have suffered terrible, terrible drought and things like that. And just by following certain newer techniques, they've turned their life around. It's not even just, I mean, gone are the days of being, sounds terrible, there were farmers killing themselves, suicide. Far from that, they're very wealthy people now, just because they made a few positive changes. There is a community that we filmed in Rajasthan that lives in perfect coexistence with leopards. They know leopards are going to come in and take their flocks, and they allow it to happen. It's the only place probably in the world where leopards and humans live in perfect coexistence. Everywhere else in the world and in India,
This is Jawai.
people are. This is Jawai. You know, so there are examples. You know, and it would do us great good to just follow some of these examples.
Well, something else positive about this film, which I'm not sure if I should be sharing, but you heard Robin's voice or the voiceover on this film, but it's actually going to be somebody else. Is it okay if we share this? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
We are very excited that my rubbish attempt at being a voiceover will be replaced by an incredible superstar, Zeenat Aman, who is going to be on screen as well as voicing this film. And we thought it was very suitable because here is someone who has seen the world change in front of her eyes. You know, she's at that senior age now where when she was a young girl, this world was a very different place. And today she's going to narrate this story to us, telling us how it's all changed. And between her and our on-screen anchor, it's a pretty formidable team. You know, I'm sure everyone's going to really relate with this.
I think one of the most critical aspects about this film is that you have been able, or you are allowed to traverse the length and breadth of India, and you're basically documenting the reality that will not be available for the generations to come. Just the fact that we're talking about Gangotri, if we can't see what it was, we will never know what we are aiming to restore.
You're absolutely right. So the particular example of Gangotri, there's so many young people from here who probably go trekking. It's an incredible yet terrible statistic. Gangotri is the source of our holiest river, the Ganga. The statistic is that since 1936, the glacier that feeds the source of the sea may have retreated by 18 kilometers till today. 18 kilometers smaller, and it's retreating every year. So, you know, just think about what climate change is doing to that. But yes, we've got this opportunity to document so many other places like this. They're all over, and we've been all over the country. In fact, so much so, when you asked him what drives him, he has kept us youngsters in check, saying, no, I don't like this story, I want you to go and repeat it, go somewhere else and do it. He's on the ball, making sure that we sing. So yeah, we've had the opportunity to go, you know, from tiny little valleys, forested valleys in Nagaland to down south in Kerala. Actually, we've been all over the place, and our film reflects it. Adding to that has been a lot of filming and footage that we've got from Discovery that takes us to different hotspots abroad as well. So we filmed in the UK, but we've also got footage from the Great Barrier Reef, from Serengeti National Park. I mean, you know, it's a film that sort of really encompasses a planet's issues.
So, Mr. Burman, this has been a long journey. Have there been any learnings for you, or anything that you would change when what you came into this endeavor? And now it's been 2 years, and they've traveled all over the country. They've come back. They've shown you what they've gotten. You've advised them on ways to do things. Any learnings that you feel have emerged in the last year and a half?
There are plenty of learnings, because we have a think tank also they give us the statistics as to what is right. Oh, I'm sorry. They give us the statistics of what is the correct thing, and then we modify whatever has to be modified for the for the documentary. So it's been a long experience for each and every episode. That what is it to be changed as to what they are saying based on facts, and based on facts which have been actually done by our own researchers who always have checked on the facts.
In a world where not much value is given to fact, I think that's another very critical and important part of this film. You've touched on the importance of it being based in India and on India. India has a critical role to play when it comes to climate change because of our size, because of our numbers, because of our geography. We're also most at risk. We're high risk when it comes to climate change. Could you share a little bit on India's role as a player when it comes to countering climate change?
Yes, but it is the same all over. When we're talking about forests, even the fires which are in California is due to the same thing that we are having over here. It is global warming that is causing the fires over there. So the issues are the same, only the context is different, and they apply the same issues in their context, and they can do something similar to what we are doing, or they can change according to do it. The question is that it can be changed. That is the main question. And we show how it is going to be changed, and this is the way it is being done.
Robin, is there anything
I
unique
think
about India?
I agree with sir. Sure, we are at great risk, but so is everyone else. The Amazon is being cut down in a degree that is unimaginable, and most of it is being cut down to create cattle ranches so that people can grow cows to eat them. It all comes down to too many people wanting too many things. Consumption has to be controlled, and hey, open the blindfold. We just need to open the blindfold.
Consumption has to be controlled. Can you talk a little bit about the episode on population?
Well, we certainly are in focus over there. We are now the most populated country in the world, and but there again we have a very clear demarcation. The south of India is fertility rates are declining, whereas the hotspots are in the north. So there again, the example is there to follow. You just have to follow it. Awareness, open your eyes, and it'll all change. I think that we are trying to really drive home that point.
Lastly, Mr. Burman, the Mobius Foundation works on the issues of gender, it works on the issues of education. When it comes to climate change, are there also opportunities in terms of employment, in terms of women in the workforce? Any thoughts on that? Anything you've learned over the...
There certainly are, because we will get into other areas. One simple area is gobar gas. Gobar is today being exported to Kuwait for their trees to grow better dates. Gobar is being exported, and other countries will follow the same. What we are going to do is concentrate on creating bio-fertilizer which will replace urea and phosphorus altogether. And this is what is causing a whole lot of problems as far as the sea is concerned, as far as the other things are concerned. What we cannot do is ask, we are going to ask the government also to reduce the fossil fuels, and they are working at it, but they are working at it at a very long pace. But they should do it much faster within the next 5 years. Otherwise, it will get worse.
I'm being told we have to wind up, but I want to ask you, Mr. Burman, you're in your 70s, but you're still full of zest and you radiate this enthusiasm for changing, the climate. Do you honestly believe that there's hope, that we can step back from this precipice, or have you already crossed that point of no return?
I think unless the government does something about using fossil fuels, then we are going to continue with this climate change and have all the effects. Unless they stop the fossil fuels altogether, which I'll give you an example, that in the 60s, the worst example was the London fog. The London fog, you might have heard of it because you're too young to have remembered it. But London fog was stopped immediately. They stopped all coal altogether. They needed coal for heating, but they stopped it altogether. And then the London fog disappeared.
Well, London managed to do it, Beijing managed to do it. Will India step up to the challenge?
Yeah, but we've got coal and we've got oil that is causing the trouble. These are the two fossil fuels causing the trouble. India also says it will continue to do coal power things, and oil is being increased also. So we are working at cross purposes because we are looking at development. We need more energy. Are we going to do it all from renewable energy or not? That's a question which we will try to influence.
Development for whom and at what cost?
What
Who
is the
defines
use of
this development?
if the planet is destroyed?
Mr. Burman, last word to you. At Mobius, you seem to have imbibed and embraced this concept called environmentality. Is that right? Environmentality?
I don't remember inventing such a name.
Okay, I think I may have read it.
But he certainly does. He certainly, whether he remembers it or not, it certainly
I
is a
may have
terrific,
said it while you were there.
Maybe it's in your DNA.
Yeah, I might have said it while I was there. On
Well,
the
it is
spot,
very catchy, so Robin, what do you make of
on the
this?
spur of the moment.
It's a term I think we certainly should use, environmentality. I think that's terrific.
Yes.
Well, for all of us, I think that should be our takeaway. Environmentality, and let's try and do what we can and speak up for what we see as development and what we would like to define as development, and not let it be defined by anyone else.
Development can be green. That's what we need to put across to everybody. That we don't need to have development which will destroy other things. We have to tell them that, look, you can have development, but you don't need to destroy the earth or our lives for that.
Mr. Burman, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was indeed a very, very interesting conversation. Sir, may I please request you to felicitate Robin and Sarah? May I request you to please stay on stage? We have another very important event. We have the soft launch of the 2 volumes of the book, Environmental Milestones in India. Volume 1 that covers the journey from ancient India to independence. And before we get into that, I would like to introduce our author. He needs no introduction, but for the uninitiated, the author is Dr. Eric Barucha, who is a surgeon, wildlife photographer, biodiversity conservationist, environmental educationist, author and director of the Bharatiya Vidyapeeth University in Pune. So, sir, it's an honor. Yes, sir, please. Mr. Garg, our president would like to say a few words. So I'll give it to
This is the greatest work I've seen. It's encyclopedia on environment since the ancient times till present. And Dr. Eric Barucha is a surgeon. You know, can you believe this? He's a surgeon. He's a surgeon and an environmentalist. He's head of that Pune, Bharatiya Vidyapeeth, and his books are read all over. So he wanted to revise it, reprint it, and we are in our small way trying to help him to do that. So this is a launch of that. And I would also compliment my technical assistant. She kept on working on Saturday, Sunday with Dr. Barucha. And you will say that. So we'll first release, or you want to say something?
So this is volume 1 that we're unveiling, which covers the journey from ancient India to independence.
Yes. Then we'll release. Give it.
I've got just 2 minutes to talk about 20 years of work, so that's a bit short. But the first thing is I have to thank 2 people who thought this was really worth publishing, because I practically at one point in time said, oh, I'm finished with this. And that was Mr. Burman, who looked at it and said, this seems a great idea. It's a different way of talking about environment, about the policies that came about legislative actions, about how ministries worked, how NGOs worked to do that. Who were the triggers? Who were the supporters of this kind of environment management that we have seen? And India has been a very difficult country to manage environmentally. And this is what this long story talks about. And for the young people who, many of whom seem to have read my textbook, this is not like a textbook. This is very fascinating. It's a wonderful, wonderful story. It's done in a matrix form, and it's something that I think most of you would enjoy. So it's really for the young people who need to understand where we are at and where we want to go with this story. Thank you.
Thank you. This is volume 1, and then so once we unveil volume 1.
So one by one, there.
And now on to volume 2, that takes us from independence to the present day. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Suman sir is calling you.
This is officially thanking Suman for what she has done for us.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Sarah. We look forward to many more interesting conversations.
Thank you. You're taking up someone else's time.
I am. Okay. Apologies for the delay, but over to you now, Shilpa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. But it was all worth waiting because this session which was going on was really, really